everyone. I am in your feeds to talk Below Deck Med. That's what we're here to talk about. So, Below Deck Med. It was a really good first episode. So much happened that I feel like I'm gonna have to break this down by people and things and all of it. So we're gonna go through it very quickly as we do, because this is, after all, a bonus episode. So first things first. Aesha, I love Aesha. I love her so much. I love the dynamic between her and Jason. I mean, I haven't seen, because again, Below Deck is something I kind of started with. I started with Med, but it was when Matthew, whatever his name was Chef. So that was a while ago, but I still missed Aesha. I had heard of Aesha, but I hadn't Aesha didn't come into my world until Below Deck Down Under. So I don't know that I didn't move between Aesha and Captain Sandy. And even then, she was second stew. So yeah. So, but I'm happy. I love her. So that's fun. We do have another returning person that I actually didn't realize until I showed her past season, and I think that's Ellie, if I believe it's her name is Ellie. She was the one that came on she came not from the beginning, she came partway through the last Med season, and she was the one that came in with the bunny costume and stuff. So yeah, that's really good. She seems to have really improved since, so yay. And so that's great. I'm still kind of figuring out everybody for the most part, but I do like the chef. I think it's Jono. I like him. He's sassy queen, and I love it. I love him, and I'm gonna love him. Yeah, so I think it's kind of the people and whatnot. So the biggest thing that is the issue in this charter is provisions. And the provisions is something that kind of goes through the entire episode. I've never, in the time that I have been watching Below Deck, this is probably now maybe been watching Below Deck consistently now for about 3 or 4 years. This is the first time that I am watching the show that I'm what is going on with the provisions? You're not getting alcohol on the boat, which is essential for a yacht to have alcohol, the basics, wine, red, white, rosé, and there's none of that. And the amount of time that they have to keep requesting the proper provisions, I've never seen anything like it. Nothing like it. And Jono, I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, he wants to do lobster because he has to do surf and turf, and he can't do exactly what he envisioned. Now, he does improvise and is able to use king crab, but that's besides the point. He should have been able to have what he needed, and because provisions fucked it up, and then there's a point in there where they when Aesha's following up with when they're supposed to be getting provision, was supposed to be getting it at 7. When they're ready, the charter has started. They're supposed to get provisions at 7 p.m. She calls them and they're yeah, so here's the thing. We dropped off the provisions in the wrong location. What? So no one clued into this is the wrong one. No one. So then what ends up having to happen is they have to wait now another 2 hours for provisions when dinner is supposed to be like at 9 o'clock, and that's when the provisions are supposed to be coming in during dinner serve. What is happening? And once the provisions actually get there, they find out that, there's no red wine. The basic, okay, when you're doing dinner and you've been to at least medium to fancy or high-end type restaurant, you have the option for wine. You have the option to pick white or red. Those are the basics. So where's the red? I'm just baffled by the nonsense of the provisions, and like with Captain Sandy at the end, this is kind of like, we're gonna need to make some changes. You think? Because this is embarrassing. This is anyway. That's kind of like the biggest issue throughout the episode. Now let's kind of move to the charter guests. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that happened. Well, before we move to the charter guests, there was one thing that someone said, one of the deckies said, that I was like, what? Did I need to know? No. But he says his nighttime routine includes him finger blasting his butthole. Why? I mean, go on with your bad self, whatever makes you happy. But I didn't need to know. I didn't need to know that you finger blast yourself. I just didn't need to know. Anyway, moving on. I don't think there was, I feel like there was something that happened, but maybe it was with the charter guests. Hopefully I remember everything, because I'm like, what? Anyway, it's a jam-packed episode. I don't take notes for this episode, so we're just going off my memory. Now the charter guests. Now, as mentioned in the MILF Manor episode, which you would have gotten yesterday, with this episode, we see none other than Jacob from MILF Manor, whose father is the hot one, actually. Yeah. So, he's the primary, which I wasn't expecting. However, I was able to find out that apparently Ashley, and I don't know exactly what he did, but Ashley is apparently a pro athlete. So most likely Ashley is paying for this, which, interesting, I don't want to speculate, but interesting enough that we find out off of MILF Manor that he was a pro athlete, when that could have been part of the demise of their marriage. I'm just saying. But again, I don't want to speculate because he doesn't say anything. Jacob doesn't say anything, so whatever. But yes, Jacob is our primary. Unfortunately, Ashley is not here. That would have been so much better. But anyways, they're fucking annoying. Every one of these charter guests, including Jacob, is because he annoys me at this point. I'm be careful. Don't kiss him. Don't give him pecks on the lips, because then he's gonna think you kissed him. And then don't kiss someone else, because then he's gonna think you disrespected him because you kissed us. It's all makes sense now. The entitlement of him, it just makes sense now. Anyway, I literally was like, I'm so happy that Jacob is now gone, so I don't have to see him anymore. Just we have to see him on Below Deck Med. But thank God it's a one-day charter. Anyway, so yeah, him and his guests are all fucking annoying. They want all of their clothes ironed, washed and ironed, I guess, for whatever fucking reason, because, well, take the opportunity to have free laundry done. But the I don't know her name, can't remember her name, but the third stew who's doing this, first of all, is struggling to figure out the iron. Not the first time we've seen people trying to figure out how to use a fucking iron, but anyways, I think it's the steamer that seems to be the biggest issue with these types of, and I think this is the same boat that we had last season was Mystique, pretty sure. So I think like it looks like a different iron because for some reason I don't mind. I remember the original iron being like green instead of this one looks red. Maybe I'm wrong, but we've seen people struggle to use this iron before. So she's struggling with it fine. I give you that. But then she is able to figure it out. And it still takes her the entire process from start to finish seemed to take like what, 10 hours to iron these people's clothes. Now, I don't iron every week. I'll compile everything, say like 3 weeks to a month's worth of clothes, and it still doesn't take me as long as that. Like a couple hours, maybe 10. Look, what? And like it's so bad that they were like having fun on the water, whatever, getting ready to go to dinner, and there's no clothes available for them. None. And Aisha ends up having to get involved to fix the situation, and like it's a mess. It's a mess. Some of the clothes that they want to wear, they couldn't wear. And again, on the one hand, I'm annoyed by everybody on this boat, the guests. But like, you could just said like, can you just iron this and this? Give you the option to wear whatever. And it's just like, they just wanted their entire wardrobe dealt. That's so stupid. Anyway, so they do figure it out. Whatever. Cool. So that's the other kind of thing that happened with them. The other thing that I'm going to squeeze in here to kind of be like, well, we find out here too that we didn't know about Jacob before was that he's an influencer. I missed that. Anyways, he considers himself an influencer. Sure thing, my guy. And he literally, like him and his friends are doing content or doing videos for Instagram, TikTok, who gives a shit. But anyways, he, not him, but in the quote unquote recording of the content is like them doing sick content was the verbiage at the bottom of the thing was sick content. And I'm like, I mean, okay. I'm young. Okay. I'm not 20 something. I'm 30 something, 33. And I probably have roughly 10 years on these people. And we all have our thing. You know, I come from the generation of people doing duck face and angling their cameras in a certain way and whatever. And, you know, the whole bathroom, remember the bathroom selfies, that kind of thing. Which people still do, which we shouldn't be. Anyways, it's tacky then, it's still tacky now. And we all have our thing. But this is fucking ridiculous. Sick content. This generation. Anyways, so that's kind of that. The next thing that I kind of want to move on to, the next thing is dinner service is done. They're kind of just having some fun. Jono goes to sleep and Aisha's like, I'm going to go to bed too because she wants to be awake to do Bree. Bree's that's Stu's name. She wants to be up with Bree because she's a little green. And so we need to kind of watch her. So it's basically Ellie alone with whoever is on deck. And before though, they do ask for the food and stuff, they they must have like shot out like those confetti pieces, and they're like playing with the confetti pieces, which is fine, whatever, have fun, do you. But then they start throwing it into the fucking ocean. You fucking trot waddle. Just, I'm thinking of all of the stupid things I could call these people. You snot monsters, you assholes. There are fish in the fucking ocean, and you're just, yay, throwing paper into the fucking ocean that they're probably they're gonna end up ingesting and dying from. Like, what the fuck? You're on their turf, and you're just throwing shit into the ocean. Like, what the fuck? Like, listen, I'm not like a PETA level type person, but I do believe in respecting the world and respecting the where you are and the animals you could be affecting. And that pissed me off. Just no friggin' just, ugh. As far as I'm concerned, watching this, I'm like, so Barbie dodged a bullet. Because, I mean, I felt that already, but I really feel that now. That Barbie dodged a whole ass bullet with him. Anyways, so yeah, that drove me nuts. But then they are getting a little bit in the munchies. They would like to have some salsa, chips, or nachos, whatever the fuck they asked for. So maybe some grilled cheese, or maybe some mac and cheese. They want a whole ass meal. And Ellie's like, this is too much for me now. We've seen this before. Saw this in the original, the Below Deck season, the last season we did. And we saw this with the the one that was the charter where the guy was like, you came into a gay club and you acted weird and you left it up, like that one. So, and they were asking for food too. And I think this was when Anthony was still on the ship, and they wanted food too. But instead of waking Anthony up, they literally said, or whoever it was that said, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was Barbie, who was like, okay, well, you know, Anthony is sleeping, so can I give you like a sandwich or whatever it is that she made for them? And they were okay with that. They compromised with that. When Ellie ends up doing it, she's like, oh my God, they want so much shit. I can't do this by myself. I'm gonna go ask Jono if he can get up and he can make food. And instead of you just maybe saying, listen, chef's asleep. Okay, he needs to rest up so he can make you guys breakfast in the morning. So how about we do like grilled cheese or whatever? And you could have said at least that to them and then go accordingly. But she didn't even do that. Instead, what she does is she goes down to him, to Jono, and says, hi, excuse me, knock knock, hi, it's me. The guests are asking for food. They're really hungry, and like there's so much that they're asking for that like I don't think I could do that by myself. Like, do you think like you can get up and I'll help you? Of course I'm gonna help you. It's just too much for one person to do. And she does say, yeah, I do understand and agree with her that it's not a part of her job description to give food to them, but it is in your job description to do the best that you can, I would think anyways, to do the best that you can to rectify the situation when the chef is down for the night and you need to get a fucking tip. the tip is already going to be bullshit because the provisions have fucked up. You know what I mean? So she goes to him and she says this, and he's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm. Yeah, that seems like it's your problem. That's not my problem. I'm not getting up. I'm not doing it. And she's like, oh, you're not gonna get, no. She's like, but they're really asking for, no, I'm not getting up. And she's like, okay, well, maybe I can make like grilled cheese. Like, that's a good idea. I can make some grilled cheese. And he's like, sounds like a good plan. Good night. So that's what she said she's going to do. She's going to do grilled cheese. Now, the thing here is that she wants to do the grilled, she has to do the grilled cheese for them. But they've also asked for mojitos. So whoever was on deck, I think it's Gail is her name. She's like, Gail, Ellie. Yeah, they're asking for mojitos. Come back and give the mojitos. So she's obviously very flustered because she has to do the mojito. Why? I don't care. This feels like you're not handling yourself properly here, like time management kind of thing here. Give them the fucking mojitos first. And then say, okay, I'm going to give you some grilled cheese sandwiches. And yeah, and you don't need to make that a flustering thing. Just do it. Because they did ask for the mojitos before they asked for food. Right? So she does come back, give them the mojitos to say to them, listen, the only thing on the menu is going to be the grilled cheese. Is that okay? Can I give you the grilled cheese? Because the chef's asleep. And he doesn't want to get, no, she didn't say that, but she's just like, is that okay if we just do the grilled cheese? They seem to be okay with the grilled cheese. I think, I was under the impression that they were okay with the grilled cheese. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but it's funny because, for fuck's sakes, one of them says, what's in a grilled cheese? What's in a grilled cheese? Well, I don't fucking know. Let's see. What would be in a grilled cheese? You could maybe... Grilled cheese. It's a BLT. They put BLT in a grilled cheese. What the fuck do you think is in a grilled cheese? The name's in the fucking item of the food item. Are you kidding me? This fucking guy. Now I know you can include other things. Like I left up a bacon and grilled cheese. Tastes, mwah. You haven't tried it and you can eat, and you know, have no restrictions with eating pork. Go for it. It's so good. Anyway. So, like, I understand that aspect of it, but the basic thing is that it's bread, butter, and cheese. That's pretty easy, I would think. But anyway, so yeah, I'm confused by what happened here and like what went next, like what went left, because I was under the impression they're like, okay, yeah, great, we'll just do the grilled cheese. I'm so confused because what she ends up doing next is like, girl, don't go back. Don't go back. Because she's like, listen, I think it's a little selfish that he won't come down and help with it. Like, it's his job. Like, he should be, no, it's his job between this time and this time. And once dinner service is done and the kitchen is clean and he's prepped for the next day, he's done. He's done for the day. He shouldn't have to get up. And this is night one. He shouldn't have to get up to give these entitled rich kids more food. Sorry. Not sorry. So she goes back to him and you can tell she doesn't want to go in there. So I'm like, then don't go back the fuck in there. But she goes back in there and she's like, hi, I'm sorry. But like, they're really wanting the food. Like, I think it's really important that we give them the food because like, they're asking for tips. And like, I really think, like, we need more food. And he's like, didn't you not say 2 fucking seconds ago that you're going to do the grilled cheese sandwiches for them? Like, what's going on here? You can't do the grilled cheese? She's like, oh, yeah. Okay, so then you're not going to get up and make all of this shit? You're not going to do that? No, I'm not fucking getting up. And I think I feel like I'm missing this, but I feel like she kind of gave him attitude in the sense of like, this is going to fall back on us or something like that. And he's like, no, bitch, no, it's going to fall back on you. And I said, yes, it is. Now, watching this with my mom, she's kind of like, well, you know, it is his job and it will probably fall back on him. I said, no, it's not. It's not going to fall back on him. Two things. Number one, the chef is the most valued person on that boat, except for the captain. They come right below the captain. Okay? This is how this goes. The chef is always put on a higher pedestal because they're the reason you're going to get a good tip 9 times out of 10. If the food is shit, the tip is shit. So that's what's going to happen. We saw that in the last season, especially with Anthony. Once the food became shit, tips became shit. So the chef is the most valued person on that ship, except for the captain. Okay. So there's that. That's the one thing. Number 2, and this is probably an important thing too. Safety precautions. It is unsafe for the chef who has to be in the fucking galley for most of that day, cooking meals, all of the meals, for the charter guests and the crew. It is their damn job to be in that kitchen for hours upon hours, and it feels like it would be an unsafe thing to have a tired fucking chef in a kitchen, exhausted, and potentially could make mistakes, hurt himself, all of those things. So there's that. Number 3, the biggest thing. Out of all of the captains on all of the below deck iterations, Captain Sandy is the one who values the chef to and puts them in a high degree and is 9 times out of 10 going to defend the chef. Ellie, you're barking up the wrong tree. So all of those things. And he clearly has the intent to complain to Captain Sandy about Ellie. And that's exactly what happens based on the season on, because she literally says to her, we don't wake up the chef. We don't do that. We don't wake up the chef. And she's like freaking out later, past after that, and crying because of it. And I understand that it's not fun to be told not to do, like you're basically being reprimanded, especially in front of everybody else. I understand that. But you knew going into the chef's room was at the very least going to be an uncomfortable encounter. And listen, I understand wanting to keep the guests happy, but I applaud him for setting a boundary and saying, I am not doing it. Figure the fuck out. Because if he were to get out of his bed and do it, she's always going to expect that he's going to put the fire out for her, and that's not fair. You gotta set the standard. You gotta set the standard from moment 1, and he did, and I applaud him for it. But yeah, I guess that's basically it. Like, this was actually half an hour that I talked about this. It was a jam-packed episode. It really was. It was a strong start to the season. So it was a lot of fun. It was great. But that's basically it for the episode. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I think we'll just end it off with the usual outro. Even though this is kind of a bonus, but we'll just do the regular outro and we'll do that. But otherwise, that is it for this episode of Below Deck Med. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that You can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 Pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there. And you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.